Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this decorative succulents out of cold porcelain clay. So I made this at the very beginning when I first started to do stuff with clay. And as you can see, it's already broken because my daughter let it fall outside and it got rained on. And that's why it's broken like this. And someone requested to make a tutorial how I made this succulent, so I think it's the time to make a new one. So first I need a container, whatever you want. You can use a bowl or anything that thing that you want the shape of on, but you have to keep in mind that your end result of clay will be 15 to 20% smaller because it will shrink. So keep that in mind so you have the right size. I want to use this, and first you have to cover it with some sling wrap. First time I made mine, I made a mistake and I didn't cover it with sling wrap, and I was very difficult to separate the clay from the container and break the thing that I made already. So to prevent that, better use some sling wrap and it will make it easier to come off. As you can see on this one, I kind of made a wood kind texture or color. I want to recreate it, but back then I already made a mistake. The mistake was I used food coloring, and if you use food coloring to color your clay, you have to keep in mind that food color will bleed. So if you made one solid thing like this one, you can use food color or like this. But if you want to mix colors together, then better not using food coloring but use acrylic color, so the color will not bleed into the lighter color. Like I have an example, I only found this one, but this is a teeny tiny penguin. So as you can see, I used black food color for the black color, and the black bleeded into the white, so it has like a bluish hint, and that's not what you want. So if you want to use one solid color like this, you can use food color, but if you have to make it close to a lighter color, better use some acrylic color. What you have to keep in mind is that if you just use the clay without adding any titanium dioxide, it will has like a kind of translucent outcome. I will show you. Like this rose, I made it last night using this clay. It's not fully dried yet. As you can see, these petals are kind of translucent. They're not fully opaque white. So if you want like an opaque white color, you should to add some of this titanium dioxide to your clay. But if you want to color it, I suggest you to not use titanium dioxide, or not too much, because it will make the color hard to be seen through. It will make your color be always like pastel-y because it already has the white color in there. So, but if you use like just this one, you have to keep in mind that your color after dry will be darker for a few shades, so you will not have the exact color. It will be darker after it dries. And I usually use, I mix the colors. I don't have every color, or I have, but just this small tubes, and I don't want to use them, so normally I mixed my colors by myself. Now I have all my colors mixed together. I covered them in some chilling wrap so they don't dry while I mix the other colors. So I have 3 shades of brown to make the texture a little bit more unique and more wood-like. And I add a little bit of the titanium dioxide to this lighter color, so it will not get so much darker after it dries. I use my other part and repeat the same process. Now to make the side parts, I made along the row, and then I will cut it in half and I will roll it out like this. Okay, now I zoomed out a little bit so you can see the side piece better. I made it very long, as you can see, because I wanted just one thing going around it, so it didn't have too much ends, and that will make it more unstable. At first I was planning to cut off the edges, like to make it more even, but after seeing it I thought it's kind of it looks more like wood, so I just leave it like this. Here's how I made the succulents. So first you need a circle for the basic shape. And if you know how to make this, then actually you can make every succulent you want, because they use the same technique and you just have to change the leaf pattern. Now I'm cutting the clay into the same size, so the leaves that I make will have around the same size, but I'm not really precise in doing this because I don't think it needs to be perfection, and nature is not perfect, so it will look more natural if you just make it how you feel it's right. And I don't really have a number for how many leaf I use. I would just do how many I feel it's right and it fits on the succulent. case you wonder why I'm smearing around with the glue, for me it's not a big problem because the PVA glue will turn clear if it dries, and after it dries I will furnish it with clear spray paint anyway, so it's not a big deal. So these are all the succulents I will make for today. I think it's enough to fill the container that I made before, and now I'm letting them dry as well. Normally this ones, like the thick parts, will take a few days until they dry, but some tiny thin things like this, they will dry in a day or so. So after everything is completely dried, I will put the succulents together. Now I have my succulents and they're like 90% dry, because like you can see they're still a little bit flexible, and after they're dried they will be not as flexible as they are right now. Now I'm using this dark brown clay to make dirt for the base of the plants, and I'm using the styrofoam to cover it with the dirt or clay and then put it inside of the container, so the succulents are a little bit raised and not on the bottom of the container. I'm using pointy tools to make the holes so it looks more like dirt, but this part is not really important because you will not really see the dirt anyway. They are covered by the plants. Now I'm making some screws to put them on the container or planters so it looks more like wood. And finally I will paint the plants to give them like a more realistic look, because normally succulents have like a white dusty look on it, and I try to imitate it with some acrylic paint. And how I'm doing is, it's like use a very little of the paint. You can like brush it up on a towel or something, and then you brush slightly over the plants so they have just a hint of white or blue or any color you use. And you can also use a little bit of water to make them like more sheer. And yeah, that's how I painted all the plants. And for this one they needed some red colors on the tops because I think that's just how they look like. On this one I'm adding a little bit of red on the edges because succulent will do this. If they are stressed they will turn reddish on the tips of their leaves, and that's make it just how it looks more realistic. Using a pointing tool I'm making these little dots, and they have like a textured look to it. Now I'm going to put all the parts together. First I'm going to put the styrofoam piece with the dirt on into the planter or the container. And now I'm gonna glue the succulents onto this dirt, artificial dirt or my clay dirt. I first will arrange how I want them to be. I actually found this one. This I made way back then, but I think I can use it on it because there's still some gaps and I want to fill them all. And I'm just gonna use my white glue or PVA glue and my fingers. The succulents are put together. Now I'm gonna let them dry, and after it's fully dried I will spray them with clear spray paint. So this is the piece after it fully dried, and now I'm going to spray it with this Dove Clear acrylic spray paint to protect the surface of the clay. And I'm using the Dove one because I don't like if the succulents are shiny. So this is the end result of my decorative clay succulents, all covered, all protected with acrylic spray paint and all dried. And because I used the Dove acrylic spray paint, you can see that the succulents are not shiny. That's what I prefer, because in real life they are also not shiny. And yeah, you can use this to decorate your table, and it's just really cute, and they never die, and you can keep them forever. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you in the next video. Bye.